I want a chance to exist in this country, and I want to make my dreams come true. Ironically, we stand here today still saying, I want my DACA. We are facing a threat from this administration, not only against DACA, but also for TPS. We are here today to say that we will fight and we will continue to be judged by the content of our character and not the possession of a legal piece of paper. Many undocumented people are still living in the shadows. But what do we need to do? We need to rise up and we need to resist and stand up for our community. We can no longer stay back while they deport our families and take our families and separate them. We need to stand up and fight back.
Say it loud, say it clear, immigrants are welcome here. Say it loud, say it clear, immigrants are welcome here. Say it loud, say it clear, immigrants are welcome here. Who are we? Who are we? We are the immigrants. We are the immigrants.
This program is an example of a program that should have become permanent a long time ago. The Tepecianos, people with TPS, have been in this country for close to 2 decades on temporary status. And now we hear that this program is under attack, that instead of creating a permanent solution, that what we have is an attack on TPS.
Good morning. I too want to express our condolences and prayers for the family and friends of Heather Heyer, a young woman who's killed in an act of hate. She was not an immigrant, yet she protested against racism and against exclusion and hate. For that reason, we stand in mourning for her. We will not stoop to violence. Our response is to appeal to the angels and everyone, but we all have a responsibility to step forward. Silence is unacceptable. The RAISE Act proposed by Donald Trump is elitist and takes us back in time. SB 4 in Texas is racial profiling. Trump, who accuses immigrants of being criminals, is considering a pardon for convicted Sheriff Arpaio. The EB-5 program allows wealthy immigrants to buy green cards. The system is broken. We can't let it get worse. So today, we call upon everyone who has not stepped forward to take a stand. Starting today, over the next 22 days, thousands will gather in the front of the White House to call upon the Trump administration to do the least they can do. Don't allow 800,000 youth with legal status to become undocumented. Don't allow 400,000 men and women with TPS to become subject to deportation.
And I would like to first introduce Representative Jimmy Gomez from District 34, who will speak to us today. Representative, please.
Thank you so much. So 5 years ago, the lives of thousands of young adults changed. And it changed with the implementation of DACA. With DACA, our country embraced these young individuals and reinforced what they have always felt in their hearts and minds, that they are Americans. Since then, DACA has opened the door of opportunity to nearly 800,000 dreamers, their families, and communities. DACA must stay in place until Congress provides a permanent solution. The question for my Republican colleagues is, what do we do with dreamers? Here's my answer. Have heart and offer hope. Pass the DREAM Act and pass the American Hope Act. 2 proposals. Yeah, let's give that a round of applause. These are 2 proposals to permanently protect DACA recipients. For example, between now and March of 2018, 7 countries, Sudan, South Sudan, Honduras, Nicaragua, Haiti, El Salvador, and Syria, will see their current temporary protected status, TPS, designations come up for renewal. President Trump shouldn't allow TPS to expire. There's too many people that count on it. Allow the program to expire will result in the mass deportation of people who have been here for almost 20 years. Trump must make the right call. Additionally, Trump's budget priorities is also morally bankrupt and politically unwise. Where does all the money from cuts to education, the environment, and public safety go? To fund anti-immigration policies like the border wall, detention facilities, and a mass deportation force. But we cannot stand and we must oppose any policies that attempt to divide our families.
For years, I've been in such admiration of dreamers who've accomplished so much, worked hard, got into college. Some have become valedictorians and even student body presidents. And for years, I have been amazed at the courage of dreamers who come to Washington, D.C. over and over again, demonstrating in the halls of Congress, despite the fact that it reveals their status as undocumented. Well, today, 5 years after the implementation of DACA, we know how much good it has done. It has given these young people a bright future, a future where they can have a college education and can support themselves.
Take it no more.
We're fired up!
Can't 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 take it no more.
We want them to listen to us and to protect DACA, to protect TPS, to protect our African American communities, to protect our families. Nosotros como comunidades tenemos que salir a votar cuando sean las elecciones, tenemos que resistir y decir que vamos a pelear de regreso. ¿Se puede?
Sí se puede.
¿Se puede?
Sí se puede.
¿Se puede?
Sí se puede.
Sí se
Puede.
puede.
Sí se puede. Sí se puede.
I think we should really care that this is like really close to an end. It's not a joke. Like we try to laugh about it because it's really serious and comedy is the only way. But it's not funny when we're having those meetings and they have to break the news to us just because we're active, so we get to hear it before anybody else does, and it gets really hard. So I think we need to step up. We need to come out and support this type of legislation and ask for something permanent. We can't be living this way. Call of action to my people in the shadows, come out, like step up. It would benefit everyone. This isn't just an undocumented issue. This is a whole United States issue. You help us, we help you. It doesn't work one way. It's both ways.
So I think, as undocumented youth who benefits from DACA, I think that we should care because many of our friends that go to school are undocumented. Whether they say it or not, many people are still living in the shadows. But also many of our parents are undocumented. And these youth that have an opportunity, have this legislation that's able to help them, why not keep supporting them? Youth that are either, if you're documented and you're their same age, wouldn't you want somebody to help you as well? Like it's, I would want people, if I can't fight openly, I would want people who are citizens to fight for me because I would do it still. If there's many people who can't go out because they're just simply scared, and it's like, we need to fight for what we already have. If DACA is taken away from us, we are affected. I've been able to work for 5 years here legally. I've been able to go to college. I've been able to provide for my family. So why not fight for something that's been helping us, helping our communities, helping our youth better themselves, If I were to go back to Guatemala, what would I have there? Mainly the reason I came to this country was because my father was killed back home. I came here to better my life, to have a better future. So it's not because I want to, just sit in the park or just take Americans' money or whatever. I came here to work, to better myself, and fight for a better future. By there being a path to legalization for people like myself, DACA recipients, and TPS recipients as well, we can create a better America. Many of us are scholars, many of us are going to colleges, many of us are at UCLA, USC. We're here to give back to our communities. Many of us, we could be the next doctors, we could be the next presidents, we can be the next legislators. But what do we want is an opportunity to become those educators for the future generations, an opportunity to become those future politicians that's going to shape this country to better it. So all that we ask is for people to fight for people like us or stand hand in hand with us and keep working with us, working to create a better America, to shape this country into an America that welcomes everybody, an America that's just, basically has no borders, that doesn't limit you or doesn't judge you by the content of your skin or by a paper that legalizes you,
Give it up for Jorge! Hola, mi nombre es Jorge Jerónimo, soy un estudiante de DACA, voy a la escuela de Cal Poly Pomona y estoy aquí de toda la comunidad inmigrante. No solamente somos los jóvenes que tenemos DACA, pero representamos nuestras familias, nuestras mamás, nuestros papás que trabajan tan duro, and that's what we all want. You know, we want to get ahead in our past. We come from Mexico, from all over the place in the world, just to succeed, just get a better life, and that's the motto, to get a better life. We are not here to hurt anybody. We are not here to take anybody's jobs. We are here to help one another, support one another, and love one another, because that's the reality of who we are. We are human beings, and we speak from the heart, and we are what the world needs, and that's pure and justice. And don't ever let anybody tell you that you're not important and that you have the right to opinionate your voice and make your voice heard.